Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me is Real Power. We have the playoffs on his way with the season winding down. We have some teams already kind of in the playoffs and already clinched. And we have new teams that have never been in the playoffs. I mean, not never, but they haven't been in the playoffs in quite a while, right, Will?
Yeah, man. The first team to get into the playoff picture, of course, was the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
They're the favorites to win the whole thing, but they've been the favorites to win the whole thing the last 3 years. So
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
my hopes up yet. I got to
yeah,
see if they play in the playoffs because it seems like every year the same guys are always struggling.
yeah. Yeah, and
It's
it doesn't
new guys.
matter if you win the play. If you're the first team to win the play to go into the playoffs, it matters when you finish it off, man. Not just not being the first team. So I mean that's good.
Be
That's a good.
clutch in the playoffs, not before.
Exactly. A team that hasn't made it to the playoffs and was the second team to actually clinch a spot was the White Sox. They haven't made it since 2008. So that's a good team. I think well deserved. They're well deserved. I think that team it has the potential to go all the way.
Yeah, they look really good. Pitching looks really good.
Yeah.
Giolito with his no hitter.
Yeah.
Keuchel's had his struggles with the injuries, but he seems like he's back on track.
Yeah.
And they got an amazing lineup, man.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson, that dude's a beast. I think he actually might win the batting title this year.
It looks like that, right? It does.
Yeah, hitting like 350.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 60 games, it's not as much as normal, but still 60 games to hit 350. That's pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing. Yeah. So who's the third team that actually clinched right away? I think it's the Rays, right?
Rays. They they won the division,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking pretty good too. They got a few good pitchers on the team. They have a pretty good lineup. I'm really surprised that the A's are actually standing out this year. I thought it was going to be last year or the year before that they were going to be like the standout team. But with Houston's struggles and the rest of the AL West kind of
tanking.
Greatest teams,
They don't have competition there.
they really are the best team in the AL West.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun series to watch with the A's, and I'm not sure who they're playing first, but
yeah, because the brackets are still not they're not broken down yet because the season's still not over. So
more teams for the AL playoff contention.
Yeah, and then the Rays, man, the Rays.
Yeah,
the Rays aren't.
I kind of had a feeling that the Rays were going to be in anyway. It's
their pitching. Their pitching is just
Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, like those guys are both Cy Young contenders.
I agree, man.
They have a really good lineup also. Kind of just a well-rounded team. They kind of remind me of how the Brewers were when they made it to the playoffs 2 seasons ago. I believe it was 2 seasons ago.
2018, yeah. 2018. Mm-hmm. I think they do, yeah.
I don't think they're going to win it all. I think there's a couple other teams that are a little bit better than they are, but
but the thing with these playoffs though, it's because some of these teams haven't faced each other all season.
And
so they can see all the video they want, they can do whatever they want, but they haven't played each other.
Live pitching.
Exactly. So I think this World Series is going to be a little different than the other ones. I think this one's going to be kind of like the World Classic. You know how the World Classic, you have different countries in the mix, and you're like, oh man, this guy has a crazy curveball. I only saw it in the video. I didn't see it, live pitching. That's crazy. So it's kind of like that now. It's kind of like that.
There's a lot of times in the World Baseball Classic that we don't even know who those guys are.
Exactly.
Because they're not in Major League Baseball. They're either from, the Japanese league or the Korean league or the Mexican league. There's a bunch of different baseball leagues all over the world. People think that Major League Baseball is like the only thing, but baseball's huge in almost every country, It's like second to soccer.
And this is going to kind of remind everybody that, when you don't face a team during the season, it kind of surprises you. It kind of throws, it throws you a curveball and you're just like, what the hell? Like, what happened? I thought we were the greatest team and we didn't do anything.
Yeah. It's like when a prospect comes up and, the opposing team, they may have a bunch of good hitters on the team, but then you have a guy like Brady Singer that comes up and he throws a no-hitter because they've never seen this guy before.
Exactly.
So They don't know how his fastball moves. They don't know how much break he has on the curveball. They don't even know if he can throw a curveball.
Yeah.
You know, all they know is, a little card sitting in their pocket about what the pitcher likes to throw, how often he likes to throw it, compared to right-handed batters, left-handed batters, all that. And you can only learn so much from a card. But until that's actually one of the reasons why pitchers don't really go through the order the third time around, because you don't want the hitters to see the same pitches over and over for a third time.
Yeah.
A lot of times, the third time around, unless you're an elite pitcher, you're probably going to get hit pretty hard just because they've already seen what you have in the first two at bats they've had.
Yeah. And with that, what do you think of the Twins? Twins made it to the playoffs too. They're pretty good, a good team. They got a good pitching.
Josh Donaldson, man. This guy has been healthy all season long. He's just raking.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a good hitter. He's such a good defender. A couple seasons ago, he had a dead arm syndrome. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
He got shut down for most of the season. He couldn't throw. And at the time, I think he was – what team was he on?
Was he with the Braves? No, right? It was before.
Oh, it was before that.
It was with Athletics.
Toronto?
Was it Toronto?
I think it was Toronto.
Oh, I think it was Toronto. Yeah.
So they actually did have him DH for a few games, but then eventually they just shut him down completely. They're like, I want this guy to get healthy, and now he's healthy and he's mashing.
Yeah,
so he is one of the main reasons why they made it to the playoffs.
That and he keeps throwing dirt at the plate so they could kick him out of the game. Yeah, another team that made it to the playoffs from the American League is the Yankees. The Yankees already made it. I mean, no surprise there. I mean, I called it that they were going to go into the playoffs in the wild card spot, but they actually already got the second spot in the American League East, which is, they got healthy at the right time.
Yeah.
They got really healthy at the right time.
That really hindered the Yankees midway through the season because Stanton and Judge were both healthy in the beginning, and then they go down. And then they lose Gio Urshela and a couple pitchers that they've lost along the way too. And it just seemed like their season was just kind of going in the trash.
Yeah.
But then, a lot of these guys are healthy again. And, Judge had a 4 strikeout game, his first game back after he came back from the IL. But then I think today he went like 3 for 5.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's starting to get his timing back. Stanton's always going to be Stanton. He's going to hit the ball 500 feet. So,
or strike out or get injured.
Right. So, or you're all right, or go on the IL again.
Yeah.
But, if all these guys can stay healthy and then the rest of the team can kind of give them some support, these are the guys that are really going to knock in all these RBIs. And then Luke Voigt coming out of nowhere. Everyone thought that he was just going to be a backup first baseman.
Leading in home runs.
MVP running.
Yeah. And leading in home runs. Yeah.
Yeah. Leading in home runs.
Yeah.
Man, 21 home runs I think he's at right now.
Yeah. We had all these consecutive we had all these consecutive talking about the AL. Like, now the only team that had made it so far at that time was the Dodgers. This team hasn't been in the playoffs since 2006, and I think it's well deserved too. I think it could be a good team in the future because the Dodgers are still in their way. But the Padres look legit. They made it to the second spot of the National League West, and they could easily win the first place in any other division, because they have the second best record in all of MLB. So I think the Padres are a good team. They went and got the pitching they needed. They had the hitting already, but they went and add some more hitting, and the pitching that they went and got Clevenger, which is Lament is on there, already. And then you have Zach Davies on there. So I think those are going to be their three top starters for the playoffs. And I think they're going to leave, what's his name? Can't think of his name right now. Yeah, they're gonna. I think they're gonna leave him out of the starting rotation and put him in the bullpen if they go with a 3-man rotation.
Bullpen anyway.
You think so?
Yeah, as a starting pitcher, he was a high 3s, low 4s ERA.
Yeah.
Not too many strikeouts. I think he had about like maybe 1 strikeout per inning. And it's like in the bullpen, he's just been doing so much better.
Yeah.
And who's the other guy? Drew Pomeranz.
Drew
Well,
Pomerantz, yeah,
he could be a starting pitcher for Boston, and then
yeah,
he goes to San Diego, and he's in the bullpen again.
yeah,
And that's another guy that's just thriving in the bullpen. So
yeah.
it really goes to show you, like, there are really good pitchers out there that sometimes they need to just find like a different little rhythm to get on. And sometimes coming out of the bullpen, it's much better for them. Or sometimes even guys that were in the bullpen transition into starting pitching and they thrive there too.
Yeah.
So I think the Padres made the right move to move into the bullpen because, seems like they're both doing pretty well.
Yeah. So let's move on. The next team that made it to the playoffs and clinched the playoff berth is the Chicago Cubs. Yu Darvish has been pitching lights out, man. He's been running for the Cy Young.
Yeah, yeah, him and Shane Bieber for the AL. I think those are the two guys that are going to win the Cy Youngs this year.
Yeah, well, then they clinched too. They clinched the same day, actually. They clinched, the Cubs clinched, and then the Indians clinched. So they clinched the same day. Two pitchers that are pitching on top of their game right now. And I honestly think that they're going to be the Cy Young for sure. Yeah. I mean, Yu Darvish, a lot of people don't hate on him because of the 2017 World Series. But to be honest, I think he's pitching lights out this year. And he's been doing what he needs to do, what he signed for. This is what the Cubs signed him for. They signed him to be the ace of that staff, and he's been showing it. He's been showing it lately. I know it's a short season or whatever you may call it, but I think it's well deserved. I think Yu Darvish is carrying that pitching staff, and the Cubs deserve winning that division. And then the Indians too. The Indians are a well team. They have a good pitching staff. So we've been saying it. They have a good pitching staff. So I think the Cubs and the Indians are, I don't know if they have enough to win the World Series or to make it all the way to the World Series, but for sure they're in the playoffs. And, with the bracket, how it's set up, anybody can win it. Anybody can win it. Anybody can win it. And the last team that has, or you wanted to add something?
Well, the Cubs, the thing that I see with the Cubs is they do have the really good starting pitching. Yu Darvish, like you mentioned, and John Lester. He's kind of have a good season this year, kind of like a revitalization. And they also have Kyle Hendricks. Good this season.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Chatwood, that's been kind of up and down. But if you only need those three guys to be in the rotation, you can throw Tyler Chatwood in the bullpen. Make him a mid reliever guy, 2 or 3 innings. But Chris Bryant just went on the IL just a few days ago. So losing their star third baseman, a former MVP, that's going to be a big hurt to this team. They still
that's something to worry about. Yeah,
but man, that Chris Bryant being a former MVP, that is a huge loss for the Cubs this season. I don't really think that they expected to win the whole thing anyway. Now they're definitely going to try their hardest. As they should, because Darvish has been trying his hardest, so why wouldn't the lineup? I feel like they kind of owe that to him just to go out there and just play their game. And the Indians, I don't know, man. When they traded Clevenger away to San Diego, it really just seemed like they were just kind of throwing in the towel.
But they still have a good team, though. They still have a good team.
And if they do want to win and not blow a 3-1 lead this time,
don't play the Cubs
with Francisco Lindor on the team. I think it's this season that he becomes a free agent. So if they lose him, they don't have another shortstop to fill in that spot.
That's true.
I forget who it is that they traded away Clevenger for. So maybe if they have a middle infielder that they traded for for Mike Clevenger, then maybe that's someone that they could possibly, slot into shortstop. But losing Francisco Lindor, he's a top 5 player in all of baseball. He's an amazing hitter, amazing defense. He's kind of like Javier Baez, like for the Cubs.
Yeah, they have some nice fast hands, man.
Yeah.
It's just they have some soft, nice hands, like
smooth.
Yeah, they're just slick with it. That's all they practice, how to move their hands quicker and smoother, and it's amazing to watch. I like watching middle infielders take practice because they do some crazy things out there. Sometimes they go deep in the hole and then they throw it from way the hell out there in the outfield to first base, like on the bullet, like line drive type, man. So, yeah, I like seeing that. And what's up with the last team, man? We're not gonna leave them out. The Braves. What do you think of them?
Yeah, man. The Braves have had a rough season this year. You know, with was it Mike Soroka?
Yeah, he
Was
went
it
down.
he opted out, and then they had the pitcher that started running towards first base that fell, and
I'm trying to think of his name.
uh,
Uh,
yeah, I don't remember his name.
yeah, we're banking out on the podcast. That's not good, man.
That's all right.
We mentioned him before on our podcast. So if you guys been watching, you guys know who he is because we've been mentioning. Will has been mentioning him like in 3 or 4 podcasts before this one. So
It was Soroka that
Hiroka is the one that went down.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but the Braves are pretty good. You have the first baseman, Freddie Freeman. He's actually one of the. He could be an MVP. So he's having a breakout season. And I mean, anybody can win the MVP this year because of the 60 games. But don't let that fool you. He's actually putting up numbers, and he's batting. He has a nice batting average. I think he's leading the National League, right, in batting average. Yeah. So he's having a great season, and as well as other players. But I think he's having a great season because I don't think the East is really competitive to like.
Right.
When you have the Mets, I don't think the Mets are qualified. The only one that I do see a threat though is the Marlins. The Marlins haven't lost any series, since they joined the league in, I believe in 1993. So they went to the World Series in '97 and they won it all. They went to the World Series in 2003 and they won it all. And the 2 times that they went to the playoffs, they won the World Series. They didn't lose anything. So it looks like they're going to get the 2nd spot in the East. It looks like they're going to get the 5th spot, and the Padres are going to face them. So right away, exactly, right away, the Padres are getting tested.
That would be a fun series to watch.
Yeah, so it's going to be a really good series to watch. So I mean, they haven't clinched yet. But it's getting close to it, and it looks like they are going to get the 2nd spot.
Much a given. Like, who else in the NL East is really going to take that 2nd spot? Phillies. They had like a little hot streak going on just about a month ago, but they've fallen off since then.
But they still have the spot. They still have, like, if the season was to end today, I think they still have the 8th spot or the 7th spot to go in, which is meaning the wild card spot. Yeah. But the Marlins already, like you said, it's kind of like already a given. So, I mean, that's a good thing.
Which is crazy, man, because who would have ever thought that starting this rebuild a couple seasons ago that they would be ready for playoff contention now? Usually, when you start a rebuild, you're thinking, 5-6 years down the line. Now, they actually kind of started the rebuild when they traded away Giancarlo Stanton, which was, 3 seasons ago?
I believe so, 3 seasons ago.
Yeah. And, usually when you start a rebuild, like I said, it's, 5-6 years down the line. But, 2-3 years later, they actually look really good. Sixto Sanchez that they traded JT Realmuto for from the Phillies.
Yeah,
that guy, he's a really, really good pitcher. Throwing 101 miles an hour. He's accurate.
Is he the guy that gets compared to Pedro Martinez?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
He even has, I think, a tattoo.
Pedro Martinez tattoo?
Yeah, it's an homage to Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, his idol. So if he's anything like Pedro Martinez, man, rest of the league better watch out.
That's what I was going to say. Well, if he has that tattoo, he better pitch like him, and he is kind of proving that already. So for more videos or for more chats on the playoffs, let us know here on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. And let us know, too, here on YouTube. Actually, ask us questions here on YouTube. Subscribe and like our videos. And if you don't like it, hit that dislike, that thumb down or something. Just let us know what you guys want to hear. And if you don't like the content, let us know that as well. I'm Carlos Baseball, and this is Will Power. This is Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.